Hello students, today I'm going to revise with you computer science for grade 11 and 12, the worksheet which I gave you. So our topic was about what's network, about it's going to be all about networks, and later on we're going to continue about that the last sheet which I gave it to you. So let's start. What is a network? A network consists of two or more computers that are linked in order to share resources such as printers, CDs, exchange files, or allowed electronic communication. The computer on a network may be linked through a cable, a telephone line, a radio waves, satellites, or infrared light beam. That means basically a network is a connection of computers so you can share your resource. That means your files, your pictures, you can print out and so on. The basic computer hardware components that are needed to set up a network are as follow. Here, hardware, that means the physical parts of the computer of the network which you can touch. That means what the network is made of. Components, the important parts of it. Network cable, one of the main. Network cables. A network cables are a transmission media to transfer the data from one device to another. Transmission means data moving from one computer to another or one device to another. A commonly used network cable is category 5 with the joint RJ45. This is your RJ45, this one, RJ45, and this is your cat 6. There you have different type of category, cat 6 sometimes, and cat 5. Category 6 is contained of 8 cables: white, orange, orange, white, green, blue, white, blue, green, and white, brown, brown. So these are the cables of cat 6 or cat 5 cables, and the connector, the name of the connector is known as RJ45 connector, as shown here. Repeating, a network cables are a transmission media to transfer data from one device to another. A commonly used network cable is a category 6 or 5 cable with RJ45 connector, as shown in image here. This is RJ45 and this is your cable. Routers. Now what is a router? A router is a connecting device that transfers the data packets between different computers on networks. Typically, they are used to connect a PC or organization LAN, local area network, to a broadband internet connection. They contain RJ45 ports so the computers and other devices can connect with them using network cable. So you're going to plug in a network port in your router. The role of router is transferring, taking from an organization like your WiMAX is a router. That means it being connected either by a wireless or it could be connected by a cable through RJ port to provide you an internet. Repeaters. I'm repeating routers again. A router is a connecting device that transfers the data packets between different computers network. Typically, they are used to connect a PC or an organization LAN to a broadband internet, like your ISP services. That ISP services, that means if you have two different network, with the help of router, you can connect them. You can provide them an internet connection. They contain RJ45 ports so that computers and other devices can connect with them using network cables. Repeaters and hub switches. Repeaters, hub and switches. We start with repeaters. Repeaters, hub and switches connect computer devices together so that they can function as a single segment. That means it can control. That means if the data is coming, repeat the same signal. For example, for the repeaters hub, that means if it's the computer is connected in the hub, it can share the same resources. Switches, it can send. There's a difference between hub and switches. Switches, it provides data. That means you can specify someone. That means you can give access to some Google to someone. The other person you can access a YouTube. That means you can control the port. Go more in details here. A repeater receives a signal, regenerates it before retransmit so that it can travel a longer distance. So it repeats the same signal. You can see in a picture wireless routers. This is a repeater and they are used for longer distance to provide a signal. Nowadays even they use it for Libyan and Mother to provide the signal for longer range as a distance. Hub is a multi-port repeater using a several inputs and output ports so that an input at any port is available at every other port. Simply the hub is it connects the computers or if the devices you want to multi-ports being connected to your hub, and it shares the same. That means you cannot specify the rules or the protocol for each computer or device. These are your switches. A switch receives the data from a port, use packet switching, resolves the destination device, and then forwards the data to a particular destination rather than broadcasting it as a hub. As I told you, hub will give it to each and every one. Broadcast, that means it's going to be for all the computers. Those are connected to a hub. It will have the data. As for your switch, first of all it will look for the destination where the computer is on a network. Then it comes take the packet, because in data transmission is being dealt using packet switching to resolve the destination device, and then forward the data to a particular destination. That means from where you can specify where you want it rather than broadcasting it as a hub. So this is a role of switch in a network. Bridges. A bridge connects two separate Ethernet segments. It forwards the packet from the source network to destination network. See, you have a bridge. It connects two different networks together to share the file or resource. This is a role of a bridge. The bridge connects two separate Ethernet network segments. It forwards the packet from one source network to a distinct network. So this is how a bridge works. Okay, now gateway. Gateways. A gateway connect entirely different networks that works upon a different protocols. It is the entry and the exit point of a network, controls access to the other network. As your ISP, here you can see here in a picture, this one, make it with the pen here, internet ISP, for example, going to be ISP service provider. As say you have two different networks. This is one. This is your one network. This is your second. So this point you will have point 1 gateway here and another here. They're using different protocols, means each network has its different set of role. So to move from here to here, the role of gateway is that to take that information from one network for one to network 2 and shuffles it and convert it according to their protocols. That may take the information and convert it or change it into their own protocol to send it to the users. A gateway connects entire different network that work up on a different protocols. It is the entry and the exit point of a network, controls access to other networks. Network interface card. Now, what's a network interface card, or known as NIC? Is a component of a computer to connect it to a network. And network cards are two types. You have internal, that means which is inside the computer, this is your internal, and external, this is your external. So we have two types of network cards. This is a component, a hardware of a network, or you use it in a computer. You'll find it in your computers, even in your laptops. External network card and internal network card. Wireless NIC. The third type I might say we have is known as wireless NIC or wireless network card. Depending on your network budget or your customers, instead of using a wide network cable. Now for wide network cable I will use these two, but if it's wireless I will use this one. You can use a wireless one. Most laptops already have a wireless card built in, so you may not have to acquire one. So most wireless card built in, so you may not have to acquire one. Because built-in means it's built inside a computer, in your laptop or even your mobile phones. So you do not need to buy an extra or external wireless card. Many new desktop computers from HP now have built-in wireless capability. A wireless NIC appears in a wide counterpart here. This is your wireless card, a wireless network card. This is your NIC internal. You use it with the cable, and this one is your external network card. So these are your types of network cards. Now we're moving forward to types of area network. We have different types of area networks, so we're going to cover the first one, a personal area network known as PAN. It is the smallest and the most basic type of a network. A PAN is made up of a wireless modem, a computer, or two phones, printer, or tablets, etc., and revolves around one person in one building. These type of networks are typically found in small offices, residents, and are managed by one person or organization from a single device. Now here, PAN connection, for example, in one house or in one office is being used by either one or two persons, utilized by one or two persons. It could be like connection between your computer and a printer is a PAN. Your internet, for example, has been connected to one device only. Your tablet is connected to one device only or one printer only. So this is known as a PAN, personal area network. Second one, local area network, which is known as LAN, and it's more common. They use local area network, and then we are going for wireless local area network, which is your WLAN. We are confident that you have heard of these types of networks before. LAN are the most frequently discussed network. One of the most common and one of the most original and one of the simplest type of a network. So LAN is more common used in the world and it's one of the simplest type of a network. LAN connects. Role of a LAN is what? LAN connects groups of computers, low voltage devices together across a short distance within a building or between two groups or three buildings in close proximity to each other. Now here let me explain. That means it could be in one room. You can connect more than one computer. You have, for example, 6 to 7 computer as we have in our computer lab. It's been connected, and then it could be between two buildings, but they should be close to each other. And computers on low voltage means it use 12 volts, like your laptops, desktop, and so on, and mobile phone. They can use it by converting it into a wireless network later on. We'll come to that. Wireless area network to share information, resources. Enterprise typically manage and maintain LAN. Why do they connect it? To share resources, for example, from one office to another. Instead of sending files through USB and CDs, they just can send, and they can have even backup of their files by making a share computer. Wireless Local Area Network, WLAN. Functioning like LAN, WLAN makes use of wireless network technology such as Wi-Fi. Typically seen in the same type of application as LAN, these types of network don't require that device rely on physical cable to connect to a network. Basically, the role of WLAN is same as your LAN. So difference that one is using a physical cables, the other is using a wireless connection as Wi-Fi. Campus Area Network, CAN. Larger than LAN but smaller than Metropolitan Area Network. MANs explained below. These types of networks are typically seen in universities, large K-12 schools, districts, or small businesses. They can be separated across several buildings that are fairly close to each other, so user can share resources. Like it could be in a universities, as you know that it's smaller than metropolitan, but it's bigger than LAN and WAN. That means if you have a campus, a university, to connect them each other. Basically, the role of all these network is what? To help them share resources together with each other. And metropolitan area network, which is known as MAN. These type of networks are larger than LANs but smaller than WANs and incorporate elements from the both types of networks. MAN span an entire geographical area, typically a town or a city, but sometimes a campus. And ownership and maintenance is handled by either one person or a company, a local council, a large company, etc. Now here, man is what? It could be between a town or a city or a campus, as I said here, and it's being controlled and handled. That means it does not have more than 2 or 3 companies like Rawafed or something else. They are controlling it only one. They have one geographical area and only one person or one company, they are control of this network. WAN, wide area network. Slightly more complex than LAN and WAN, connects computers together across a longer physical distance. This allows computers and low voltage devices to be remotely connected to each other over one large network to communicate even when they are miles apart. The Internet is the most basic example of WAN, connecting all computers together around the world. Because of WAN's vast reach, it typically owned and maintained by a multiple administrator or the public. Now here, WAN is what is a connection. As I told you, what is an internet? Internet is basically different networks. All of them are connected to each other. Now each like country like Italy, France, they have their own networks, and each network's been connected with one another. So as I say, that's where it comes the role of your gateway. Repeat, coming back, internet is one of the example or the basic example of WAN. It connects all the computers, or I would say all the networks all over the world, is known as wide area network. Storage area network known as SAN. As dedicate high-speed network that connect shared pool of storage devices to a several servers. These type of network don't rely on LAN or WAN. Instead, they move storage resources away from the network and place them in their own high-performance network. SAN can be accessed in the same fashion as a drive attached to a server. Types of storage area networks include converged, virtual, and unified SANs. Now SAN is basically, you can say, is let's say many hard disks together. One of more example of it I would give you, like your Dropbox, Google Drive. They are the storage devices on a network, so you can save and you can get access to them whenever you want and from any computer or device, unless you have username and password for that. So this is a role of a SAN. It saves your information or your important data on a network. System area network, also known as SAN. This term is fairly new within the past 2 decades. It is used to explain relatively a local network that is designed to provide high-speed connection in a server-to-server applications. Cluster environment. Storage area network, called as SAN as well. Processor to a processor application. The computer connects. SANs operate the single system at a very high speed. Now basically is the word operating system. That means it controls. As you know, that server is a main computer which serves the information to other local computers. So they share the operating system, the processor to processor process storages devices. So if one goes down, the other will take its place. Repeating again, this term is fairly new within the past 2 decades. It is used to explain relatively a local network that is designed to provide high-speed connection in server-to-server applications. So basically it shares the application, cluster environment, storage area network from both of them, called SAN as well. The processor to a processor application. Processor is a brain of a computer or a server, which tells computer what to do and how it will act. The computers connected to a SAN operate as a single system at a very high speed. So both network devices, they will act as one, as an operating system. Passive optical local area network, POLAN. As an alternative to a traditional switch-based Ethernet LAN, POLAN technology can be integrated into structured cabling to overcome and concern about supporting traditional Ethernet protocol, and a network application such as PoE. Now, what is PoE? Power over Ethernet. A point to a multi-point LAN architecture. A PoLAN uses an optical splitter to split the optical signal from one standard strand of the signal mode and optical fiber into multiple signal to serve user a device. PoE is that power over Ethernet. So here that means once you connect, you are able to give either the transmission, the data signals plus power. That means instead of using different two cables, I can use one cable, network cable, but I have to use PoE switches which support power plus your data transmission. So this is a role of passive optical local area network. So instead of using two cable, I'm going to use one, and I'm going to use PoE switch. So it will make it to be less costly comparing to I have to buy if the distance is far. I have to use two different cables for power and for data transmission. 10 is Enterprise Private Network, ESPN. These types of networks are built to own by businesses that want securely connected its versus location share computer resources. Depends on a satellite, a private. I can have, for example, in Tripoli, my satellite, and in Benghazi, the another satellite, and I can share. No other person can enter into our network. 11. Virtual Private Network, which is known as VPN. By extending a private network across the internet, VPN let its users send and receive the data as if the device were connected to a private network, even if they are not. Through a virtual point-to-point connection, user can access private network remotely. That means once it's a network virtual, an artificial network, I would say, to make it easier for you to understand. For example, if I'm in Libya, if I get connected to a VPN and a private network from a Holland or from a UK, so it will be like I am using internet connection from UK or from Holland. That's for this video, students, and we'll continue about network and protocols in our other video.